these houses and these trees are so close to the City of London. And when you work it out, the environment in this particular area in the past has been so bad with environmental pollution, the docks, the ships, the various other things, and everything that one would not associate with an area that could produce such very lovely and very wonderful trees. And I think the population of this particular inner urban area will appreciate how dearest to people's hearts this urban forestry is.
They're a bleeding nuisance. Well, they're worse this year. They're all in, look at it there, all in tow with one another. They're a bleeding nuisance, putting it bluntly.
It is a big feature, but the thing is this, if the thing causing damage, look at down there, it are breaking down the step. It's all just pulling down the wall. And when I look inside there, the crop go right through.
Yeah, sure.
So, how long it's going to be there for before they take it down? Are they going to break down the house?
I like trees,
but
not that tree.
Oh, right. I know what you mean. You like trees, but not that one. Yeah.
Not a berry tree, because it calls it... And it's dangerous, you know.
Well, possibly.
I mean, I don't know why they put trees that size.
Yeah.
Right, the leaves start to fall. Not only that, it's dangerous when it's raining.
Yeah.
Because you get it more in...
What, in the autumn with the leaf fall?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Along the lane there, yeah. Sure.
It's very dangerous.
Okay.
Not only that, I see it, most houses get it more than others.
Yeah.
It's
not because I don't want the tree.
No, I understand that. Yeah, I understand that.
I just don't want the wasps.
Yeah, sure. What it is, it's the wasps are feeding on the sap, what the aphids are, you know, feeding on the leaves, and they're leaving the sap.
I mean, if it gets hot and sticky like it was on
Yeah.
Friday, I mean, you'd be able to see it a lot better. I mean,
Right.
They just fly everywhere. I want
Yeah.
them to open the door.
It's affecting my elderly neighbour next door quite a lot. And she has tried a booster. She's 85 and she is housebound. And her television is her, you know, just her entertainment.
The sort of main form of
really,
entertainment, yeah.
I mean, I love the trees.
Yes,
don't get me wrong, I don't, you know, want anything to...
Nothing too drastic,
You know, if the top could be...
Be reduced a little bit,
Yeah.
Really, it should be cut back, right back.
Right back or right down?
Well, no, just cut right back.
So
like all
if
these
we
wild...
maintained it and looked after it a bit better, you'd be happy to keep it, yeah.
Right, so, I mean, we've lived there, what, 20 years now, 21 years, and this is the same tree.
Yeah.
It's never been...
I was going to say,
it's all going haywire.
Yeah, it's all going
Some of them should be cut down.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to establish, which ones to keep, rather than just come in and fell them all or whatever.
Oh, no,
Find out what
you've
you
got to have trees.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean?
you've got to have a...
Because, I mean, no tree...
Yeah, this one happens to be still alive, a little cherry tree, but unfortunately it's fallen foul to the problems of dog damage. As you can see,
Quite a
this
lot of
area
tooth
of bark has taken off here, and you can actually see the little teeth mark right up here as well. Typical problem of tree establishment.
Just about hanging on, really, isn't it?
Yeah, still going though, fortunately.
Might come back.
We've got another one here. Doesn't seem to be doing quite so well at all, does it? But there's a hole there. There's the stake is doing considerably worse than the tree, although it seems to have eventually given up the ghost. I think probably a lot of the problem here is drought as well as dogs. With a combination of the two, it didn't really stand much of a chance.
No.
Little Acer platanoides bought it.
The dogs are probably Staffordshire Bull Terriers or Pit Bull Terriers, aren't they?
Yeah, looks like. You can tell the teeth mark. Getting quite proficient at telling dogs by their dental records. Yes, that's right. But there's some places where we've got the trees established over the years, way before my time, which around the corner there. You can see the difference of of where trees are and where they're not, as it were. They're up sort of around the corner here, if you want to have a look around there. So, you go up round here, you can see the difference the trees make to the whole outlook of the estate. We've got these trees of heaven here. We've actually got one to establish here.
Yeah, it's actually taken.
Yeah, it seems to have taken. There seems to be more of a knife situation there. But that's coming along all right.
Might come back, won't it?
Yeah, that'll be all right. But as you can see, these lovely cover here. Ooh.
Makes a big difference around here, doesn't it? With breaking up the environment and the brickwork.
It gives some sort of shelter for people like us in this weather to sort of shelter under. Plus, it breaks up that whole aspect of the buildings there. These typical problems with root damage to the paving stones. Unfortunately,
yeah, lifting up all the slabs.
It lifts up the slabs,
stones,
and other people can come along and trip over them and bang their head on this wall, which isn't ideal. But then we can repair this, and we
popular place to live, property values are high, people, you know, want to come and live here. And one of the primary reasons for that is that we have an awful lot of trees. It's a nice, green, leafy environment for people to live in. And I'm not saying that people walk down the street every day saying, oh, isn't it lovely that there are trees? Because while they do that on occasions, most of the time, they just actually like the atmosphere. Investing time and money and effort in keeping trees is really important, and it's my job to keep trees on the agenda. I sort of feel that as I drive around my patch, all these trees are my babies, and I've got to sort of look after them, nurture them as best I can. And I've got to encourage other people to realise how important that they are. Obviously, things like the 1987 storm when Ealing lost 3,500 trees in one evening. Those sorts of things make you realise that you daren't be complacent about the environment, because before you know it, you know, what you thought you could take for granted is gone.
Right, well, I'm gonna crawl up to the top of this monster because it's been struck by lightning all the way down the side of it here, which in itself hasn't made the thing dangerous, but it's the latest in a long line of storm damage that's gradually destroyed the structure of the tree, and now it's got to the state where we're worried about it falling on the head of people who are going to be using the garden. So we're going to try and take it down before it takes itself down. Well, that's the plan anyway. Right. I'll stop talking for a moment because it's too much like hard work. Now, we see a great big split where half the trees come adrift, probably during big storms we had a couple of years ago. And this is quite a weakness in the tree. In fact, that big lump there just moves on its own. You're working on trees like this, you're all the time hoping that it's going to stay up long enough for you to chop it down, which it probably will. There we are. Made it to the good bit.
It's always sad seeing a great big tree like this come down. It's been there 200 plus years. It's a part of the landscape of West Drayton. It's seen a lot of history as well. It's seen all the way through urbanisation of this area, seen the airport grow up, wars, and goodness knows what. And that's why we're rather eager to retain a piece of it, do a ring count and put some date stamps in and do some plaques of sort of world events and local events, just so that we keep a bit of the
This point here, all of the decay and the damage is really much further up. If it had been a different species of tree, perhaps we could have just reduced it, made it lighter, and it would stand for hundreds of years longer. Because of the type of tree it is, if we'd have reduced it, it would have just died. So yeah, that's the tragedy.
It's really beautiful. It didn't want to come down, did it? You know, it really didn't want to come down. Oh well, there you go. We should have a funeral pyre, you know, like a Viking funeral, sort of burn the whole lot up. That would be great.
You have to understand my position. Before I do anything criminal, I'm a soldier man. I don't care if I die. If you take me in 30 years.
No, I don't...
This is the one, all I want from all of you, cut it down. Please.
Yes, I don't think there'll be any need for you to die over this one at all, but at least it won't put your family immediate danger.
60 foot
if it's
high.
not today, it will be tomorrow, so it'll be gone then. Once it's gone, it's gone.
If you don't come, don't let me do very, very wrong, because I'm a very kind man.
Yes, I know, you've been very cooperative in the past.
I expect this tree come down immediately. If not, I'm going to do very, very wrong thing.
I never wanted it to come down.
No.
It's here quite some time. These houses went up about 1926, I think, didn't they?
Uh-huh.
Somewhere around there. You think that it's dangerous? I have to go along with the experts. I can't do much about it.
Yeah.
But I think that my home will change. It won't ever be the same, because it's been a landmark in this road for all these years.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But when the top was reduced, it lost some of its character.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it was never really going to be the same after we reduced it, certainly.
I was very sad. I cried the day you come and decided
I
you
know, I remember
Yes,
it. I remember
yes.
you doing that.
It's very sad. I love trees.
It's the nastier side of the job that we have to incur,
Yes.
but there are, as you can see, obvious reasons why we have to deal with
If
that.
it's deemed to be very dangerous, then I suppose it must come down. But if you thought it wasn't dangerous, I'd love you to leave it there. Leave my home like it is, but you think otherwise.
See, some holes have appeared at the bottom of the tree.
Yes, my neighbour next door drilled those holes to kill it with oil or something, yes.
Oil?
Can I just have a look up here, see what situation? What was that there? Was that a...
Before you remember, I drilled it, injected, but it's still no good.
No, it didn't really... Oh, yeah, there's one or two holes there, aren't there?
Yeah, I got many holes.
These are the roots there that... Oh, you drilled those as well.
What can I do? No? What can I do?
Yeah, look at those roots.
You want me to let the trees kill my family and myself and everything? I'm doing something. I expect everybody come and help me.
Yes.
If you don't help me, I don't care. I'm going to do it.
These are Lombardy poplars, and they grow very vigorously, very quickly, and unfortunately they also have a habit of decaying very quickly. Once they reach their maturity, as these are 60, 70 years old, decayed pathogens get into them and they quite rapidly start to rot and can potentially become dangerous. Despite the fact that at the moment some of these trees are still quite impressive specimens, structurally they're not safe enough to keep. So some of them have been removed, new trees are being planted and established, and over the next 10 years all these trees are going to be phased out and a new generation of trees established. To make them safe, one option is to reduce them in height, but they regrow so vigorously that once you've started to do that, you've got to keep on doing it every 3-4 years thereafter. And the Residents Association have got this expense to manage them.
Well, the trees are decaying, there's no two ways about it, and if you get strong winds, they do topple. And I myself have personally witnessed 4 trees blown down just at the back here. Myself, I've seen them come down with some force. Trees, the plants, people all get old and die. Well, trees can be dangerous. If they fall on people, we don't go too early, and I want them out.
Well, I don't think the trees should go. I don't think they've reached the end of their lifespan at all. I hear during this discussion that 4 trees were blown over. Nothing of the sort, of course. There was a hurricane in 1987. London Plains and others were blown over. Not a single poplar fell over.
2 poplars fell over.
Well, look, I didn't interrupt when you were saying your bit, so I'm telling you there were none fell over at all. And this year's program, we cut down 20 trees. I checked each one with a special probe, and there were 18 were perfectly healthy.
It just seems to be a pity that, from what Mr. Liebrich was saying, that he chooses to ignore facts, like, for example, the fact that trees have fallen down. In 1987, 2 of them fell down. The fact
during the big hurricane in 1987, not a single poplar fell over.
You obviously don't know.
I do. I patrol this area, the perimeter, with my dogs. I walk around it every day, twice. And I know.
Are any of these poplars on your land or near to your land? No.
None at all. Unfortunately, none at all.
So your garage is not being attacked by the roots.
My garage
you don't get subsidence.
Now comes
You've got no poplar trees. You said it yourself.
Can I have a word about these garages, can I? We have a report from a very well-known architect, Mr. Gorka, and who inspected all the garages. And he said most definitely the garages are very badly built,
very shallow,
very neglected.
That exactly is the reason why they should be.
No, they had nothing to do with the roots of the poplars at all. There are some garages with no poplar inside even.
We have facts that contradict what you're saying.
The garages, as you rightly say, are badly built, and therefore
so what have the trees got to do with it?
Yes, they are more sensitive to the trees.
No.
That doesn't mean that just because they're badly built, you just.
You're not an architect.
I'm a structural engineer, as it happens.
Listen to me at all.
I think they are missing the primary concern, which must be really for safety, and in my view, they're missing the point about the need for trees for another generation, because trees don't live forever, and we have to balance retaining what we've got now with what we can grow for the future. And this site is one where the next generation is going to be more important than what we've got.
Yeah, hello. It's Mr. Austin, Principal Arboriculturist for the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea. I'm going on Cheney Walk, Chelsea. I've got a parking suspension from 8:30 on, numbers 16 to 21. Yeah, we've still got a couple of cars here on site. It's holding up the operation. Can you send somebody along to move them? OK. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
First vehicle is a 40
inevitably you'll get the odd one or two that think they're above the law, and you'll get the sort of problems we've experienced this morning, where the cars have to be shifted off. But really, it's in their interest, because once the branches start cascading down, cars could get very badly knuckled. But I dare say when the residents come back and they find the cars have disappeared, they'll be midwives, come undertakers of trees and everything in between. So we look after them from the cradle to the grave. Unfortunately today we're taking on the role of undertaker. Hello? Yeah. I see. He started chopping his tree down. I see. He's got a Rolls Royce, has he? Lucky man. I'm almost certain off the top of my head that's a conservation area, and the tree could well be the subject of a TPO, tree preservation order, that is. We'll get somebody out right away to have a look at it. Thanks very much indeed for ringing in.
I'm a tree officer from the council, and we had a complaint from a local resident that these trees have been pruned without authorisation. Are you aware that these trees are subject to a preservation order?
No.
You're not?
No.
Well, they've been subject to a preservation order since 1974, and if you want to prune the trees, you have to obtain the consent of the council before you do that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Not everybody is tolerant, and some people feel that trees interfere far too much with their life, and they take it upon themselves to prune them in an amateur fashion. And in this case, apparently the tree was interfering with the reception from satellite TV. And so one sunny morning he came out and took it upon himself to do some butchery, as I would describe it. Criminal damage to our property.
Right, the problem is that someone has carried out unauthorised works to a tree which is under a preservation order, and it's in the back garden of this property, and it has been severely reduced and not professionally done. And the reason given mainly from a letter sent to me was that a man came and asked if he could do the work, and although being told it was under a preservation order, carried out the work anyway, which is not much of a defence. Well, I've received a phone call saying that the resident has rimbarked a tree. Obviously, they haven't left a name, but with the case history of this tree, we've had complaints prior to this, and we've carried out pruning works, heavy pruning works, and we've also carried out root pruning. And obviously, someone hasn't been satisfied and would like the tree removed. And they've carried out this vandalism, which has now led to the demise of the tree, the death. I will take this person to court, who will receive probably a hefty fine, because, you know, we can't have, people coming along and causing criminal damage to our highway trees. Well, I can't get any answer to that, Dory, so I can't get any answer at all.
No,
I thought you said they were here in the afternoons.
They are, yeah, it's a roll in the afternoon.
Oh, it doesn't seem to be there. So we can't go through your side and have a look?
No, I'm sorry.
Right, OK.
Yeah.
Right, thanks very much. All right.
Bye.
Thanks. I can't honestly see that there will ever be a good shape to that tree again. A great shame. It's most probable that we will be taking out a prosecution against this man
and there is a fine now of up to £20,000 per unauthorised works. So what would you like done to the tree to try to enable you to sort of live more comfortably at home, sort of thing?
The tree's got a preservation order on it anyway, and also if you remove the tree, I could end up with damp, let alone...
So basically, what would you reckon the best thing to do in this situation? To leave it and prune it back a bit?
I wouldn't like to see it go completely, no, definitely not.
Oh, right.
But at the end of the day, surely, even though the preservation order's on it, if that tree is going to cause damage to property,
yeah, sure.
Surely, if that is the answer, then it has to be taken away. You know, me personally, no, I'd hate to see a tree taken away, you know.
Yeah,
but
certainly one of this size.
it all depends, you know, what damage it's going to do in the future. You can't stand here and say to me, right, we will take care of the tree, we'll trim it back, and we will assure you that no damage will happen to this property.
Right, no, we can't give that a guarantee, no. But a combination between repairs to the building and maintenance to the tree, how does that grab you?
Without any cost to myself.
Without any cost to yourself.
And in the future, when it's sold, the people that come after and after until...
If we can get the TPO lifted, then we will maintain the tree. And with a combination of your repairs to your property, then...
I should be okay.
You should be okay, yes, that's right.
So
that's fairly acceptable, I think.
Yeah, so if I get that in if I got that in writing...
Well, yes, I mean, if we got a TPO lifted, then you would be forwarded all the information.
Right,
anyway,
if I have that in writing, I would be a very happy person.
That sounds fair enough, doesn't it?
Looking after the trees of the City of London is a constant battle because everyone wants to occupy space, whether it be developers to develop new sites or they be areas where contractors want to put site huts or new roads might go through. Well, this is always a battle I have to face. Well, I can battle against them, I can tell you. I've had a lot of experience of that. A good example here. St. Paul's Cathedral, these magnificent London planes, which must be 300 years old. They've never been damaged at all. No bad tree surgery, no bad pruning. They've not been attacked by bombs, and they haven't been attacked by the war, because lots of the trees have war damage. So what I've done here is I've worked at the early design stage with the developer, because all those buildings will disappear. The trees won't be cut about at all. And where the building comes in that side there will be a bridge over, so the roots can continue to grow underneath and down by the new building. The new building will come back, and then we'll have our railings again. Then right up above, the trees here are 120 feet high. The buildings, of course, will be much higher than that. But when you get to the top of the tree, perhaps the building can cantilever out a little. And then these beautiful trees will enhance what we hope will be magnificent new buildings here next. I have no idea of what the tree is going to look like in 50 years' time. Just imagine the furore if we kept a gorilla in a small cage like this. Stainless steel bars all around it, it simply couldn't grow to a mature gorilla. So why are we doing it with the London plane? Look at this beautiful tree growing in a small box below. It's going to grow to what, 50 feet, and then it'll slowly die. What a shame it's going to be. In the wild, it would grow to 120 feet and grow to maturity. How long are you going to stay here, old fella? What, another 10 years, and I suppose you'll be dead.
People come in here with odd trees sometimes and stick them in the ground just to make the place look inviting to start with. The cemetery authorities used to like to have it sort of dreary and droopy, and so they used to stick in a lot of cypresses. And so you had quite good collections of cypresses in cemeteries. railway engine number collecting frame of mind, I also want to collect big specimen trees, which I do, and I've got 95,000 on my records at the moment, and the Tree Register of the British Isles, a registered charity. And so when I see a good or interesting tree of any sort or big size, then I measure it and put it down on my cards, and then I know where I am. And it doesn't exist until I've done that, really, you know. Right. Well, London has a remarkably good climate. It's an island of warmth in the winter, 2 or 3 degrees warmer. So it can grow trees that come from places with real summers. Every tree in China and America has a real summer, and it wonders what on earth's going on here when we never get a summer. I mean, 90 degrees every day for 2 or 3 months is a sort of requisite of most trees. And so it's so remarkable that some of these things will grow here to any great extent. We don't have really much native trees. 35, very monotonous lot, of course, most of this scruffy little thing. You wouldn't expect it, really. We were cut off too quickly after the Ice Age, and trees hadn't got back here. 56 feet. Oh, that's rather fun. This is the Chinese fossil tree that had been known as a fossil 400 years or more. No idea that there was such a thing as a living one anywhere. And then it was found by a wandering forest officer in a corner of China in 1941. But he didn't get it out until 1944, and it was published then 44, 45, and then the Americans sent it to everybody in 1948. And it grows particularly well in London, in Britain. It likes it warm and it likes it wet, so they put it near a lake, which is the normal thing to do. It goes good orangey colours, pink and orange, in the autumn. So it's a splendid tree. Everyone should have one in his or her garden.
Nice to meet you. Everything going fine for you?
Yes, I think so. Weather's holding.
What do you think of this great big tree?
Well, it's one that we've been looking at for a number of years now, and certainly quite concerned about it anyway. Yeah. Right then, are you going to lead the way for us, sir?
Yes, of course. We have had large trees in the garden. This one survived the 1987 gales, because at that time, though we lost 5 big trees up the river side, this was due to a wind tunnel coming round and blowing them all over, mostly into the river. This enormous black Italian poplar tree has been lopped on 2 occasions, but now it is leaning just a little bit towards the parking area, and it is thought to be a danger to the public and to the public highway.
Right, shall we examine the patient?
Yes.
Certainly is rather hollow. May well have been perhaps a fire damage wound. I can see some blackened wood there, and that's resulted in the wood decaying back as the outer bark has been lost. Yeah. It would be rather fun to take a measurement of it. We can have a little game with some perhaps some assessment of its age. Right.
We cut all the ivy off at the base just so that you could see it better.
Yeah, so that has a circumference of 23 feet.
Is it the biggest tree in Middlesex, you think?
It's a particularly important tree in this part of the conservation area. It's probably one of the largest trees in terms of its girth in the borough. But it's also notable in the landscape as a feature. And it's obviously been here for in excess of 100 years. So, you know, it's obviously been appreciated by the people living locally during that time. And in that sense, it's a feature we'd want to preserve and maintain for future generations as much as for the present day.
The 2 options really are either to fell it completely which would mean, of course, it would be pretty well lost forever, or to reduce it or pollard it down to about sort of 8 metres or something whereby if it did fall over, and we don't see any reason why it should fall over, it at least be within your garden, so that it would be retained as a short pollarded tree.
Our successors will probably be doing a second pollarding in many years, some years' time, but we're more than willing for that fairly dangerous structure to be corrected in the way that you have put it.
You never know as well, with the speed that poplars grow, it's odds on that you'll be repollarding it again yourself.
Oh, you are a chap, aren't you? Good.
I feel about the tree from something I received a long time ago from dreams, basically, which led me into the yew tree, because I knew nothing about yew trees before. I had dreams, so it was the dreams that led me into the yew, which was quite right, because that's part of the other world, if you like, part of the so-called spiritual world. The tree would be about 2,000 years old. This is one of very few ancient yew trees that are known as Deva Darus. And the Daru means sacred tree. The Deva is a divinity. And basically what it means is this tree is the holy of holies. So the most sacred tree of all sacred trees. What we've got to really imagine is this tree was completely hollow over 1,000 years ago. So in King John's day, 1215, we'd have a hollow yew, completely hollow. We'd have none of these aerial roots. It would be completely empty. It would be a hollow vessel. It just happens to be on the place where the Magna Carta was agreed. This yew is telling a story about the Magna Carta. It's telling a story about Runnymede. It's telling a story about the kings and the early chiefs of Britain. So it's got a very old story to tell. Now, some people may think it's just a story, but my experience of yew trees says that the yew tree speaks more truth than we do, than people. So you can trust a yew tree, but you can't trust people. Around this area, there is proposed development. Windsor and Maidenhead District Council Authority agreed to a block of flats being built less than 100 yards from this site. So if this really is a Deva Daru and it dies, it's saying something for the whole human race. That's where our very roots come from. The roots of the human race have come from the yew tree.
This tree is a metaphor for our relationship with plants. More than many other trees, it holds a lot of the dilemmas that conservation faces today. As an example of that, we can say that we're not allowed to tell you, in fact, where we are. I'm not even allowed to reveal the location of this tree to you. The relationship that we have with plants tends to be divided into two sections, those that we cultivate and those that we experience in the wild. This tree seems to cross over all these various categories. It's a wild plant that is so tightly bound into our history that it's become much more important than something that we encounter in nature. It seems to have emotional and spiritual values which we don't really understand. We can't really pretend that we think in the same way that people did hundreds, if not thousands of years ago, but we still feel that these things are important. We still feel that there are values that plants, like this great tree, have in themselves that we don't quite explain.
There's some things far greater than the physical things which we see, which we touch. And with the yew tree,
epitomises all of that, because the yew tree lives in two worlds. It exists in our world where it doesn't really belong because of us, but it's still here, so it exists in our world, but it belongs really to another world. And the fact that it's still in this world
In Brixton, I always carry a knife with me. The point of the exercise is to commit criminal damage. Like so. And I think we will find that a great deal of damage has already been caused here. The problem with this particular tree is now it's been subject to some lodging, and it obviously needs some sort of spacing in between here. But at least for the time being, this should stop. What we have here is another example of a tree being killed by kindness. The device which was originally designed to make it survive better is in the process of killing it. This one has gone over the edge here, and what on the surface looks like a perfectly healthy tree is now developing structural problems which could make it topple at the first real provocation. Now, in a build-up area like this, it can cost lives. This one died in 1986. It was strangled by tree ties and it was vandalized. One down, one to go. The source of everyday pollution, as we know it, the kind of thing that we all suffer from, is of course traffic. And the closer the tree is to the traffic, the more effective it's going to be in absorbing the pollutants. If you want to think of trees in terms of pioneers, those are the chaps. They're doing the real hard work. The side of the street isn't necessarily the best place to plant a tree as far as the tree is concerned. But without trees, London would be well-nigh uninhabitable because the levels of pollution would be so high that people just wouldn't want to come here anymore.
We've lost a few trees here on Sloane Square through the salt damage. So what we're doing now is replacing the trees to sustain the amenity using semi-mature specimens of such combined size and weight that it needs special machinery for its transplanting. We're planting semi-mature trees so that we can get some immediate impact rather than plant very small specimens when the rest of the trees are more or less at their climax size. We're trying to compensate for the loss of amenity by planting the largest trees that we possibly can. It wouldn't be possible for these to be vandalised in the way that young trees can be, i.e. Tops snapped out or branches snapped out. About the worst they could do would be to ring bark them, and I hope I'm not putting ideas in anybody's heads. With some people, trees are total anathema. and some people are passionately fond of them, to the point where when we're trying to fell a tree for whatever reason, they actually chain themselves to the tree suffragette fashion, or sometimes the 12-bore comes out, and yeah, so feelings do run very high, but on both sides of the equation.
I want to thank you all for turning up to Oxley's Wood to reaffirm your opposition to the Department of Transport's plan to bulldoze this wood for a new motorway in London. So I just want to get a sort of opinion poll here. I'm going to ask you to give your appreciation for John McGregor and Michael Call Me Green Howard.
This road is totally unnecessary. We don't need roads. We have enough in London. London's crisscrossed everywhere by roads. And the answers to transport problems in London are not to build more roads. It's basically to invest in public transport, to get people on bicycles, to get people walking, buses, trains. We don't want people in cars.
I thought it was a good idea to adopt a tree, and plus, like, we don't really need the road to be here, though. And if you wanted to take part in against it and that, you can chain yourself to the tree or whatever and stop the bulldozers.
We live in a time where corruption, power, madness, insanity rules. And we are not going to stand for any more of it. And with that, I wish you well, and I hope we'll meet again in a year's time to celebrate victories all over London for no more motorways.
Put my life savings against the High Court case that we have. I'm prepared to go to jail, and if necessary, I'm prepared to die. You know, we've talked to people from the Amazon, and they say to us, how many people have died so far in your campaign? And, you know, it seems to them ridiculous that people don't put their lives